The one know something about competitive drafting is the speed it offers through automation. This is especially true when it comes to undergoing or undertaking repeated tasks. For example, when we have to come up with a title block, we might find ourselves doing it repeatedly over the course of different projects. In this video, we're going to see how you can create a reusable title block. The specifications of a title block depend on the body or firm you're working under, and for the general case, you can adopt a conventional standard. We'll begin by drawing the title block with all its features in their actual size, that is a scale of 1 to 1. Then we will automate some of its features, and then lastly, we will see how to place it in a drawing file. So let's get to it. We'll be adapting the specifications given by the Institute of Structural Engineers, that is the standard methods of detailing structural concrete, third edition, and we shall adjust it accordingly to fit our requirements. I'll illustrate some of its sections as we go by, so as usual, we'll open up a new drawing file and just stay in the model space. In our case, we'll cover an A1 landscape title style or title block. So the first thing is setting up the paper size. For the A1 paper size, that is a size of 594 by 841 millimeters. It's a rectangle. So essentially, I'm going to use the rectangle tool to come up with it. So go to the Home tab, select the rectangle tool, then specify the starting point. Just going to start it from the origin. Then I'm going to give it the dimensions. Since we're dealing with the landscape, I'm going to move it in this manner. Therefore, the longest side is going to be 841 by 594. So just zoom the extents, something like that. So next up, we'll draw the frame of the title block. Rather, this is where the drawings will lie within. So according to the specifications of the book, we require a minimum of 20 millimeters on all sides of the page. So we attain this by using the offset tool. So just select the rectangle, offset it, then select 20 millimeters. And now select it, bring it into the inside the paper space. This is where now the drawings will be, or rather all the drawing parts will be. Next up, we'll be adding the information bar, or where we'll be placing key information relating to the drawing. Usually, the information bar is added on the right hand side or the bottom of the title block. In our case, we'll be placing it on the right hand side. For the main titles, we'll be using a text height of 3 millimeters, and for the information itself, we'll just reduce it a bit, perhaps 2.5 millimeters. So these are the specifications we'll be adapting. We'll create a table-like structure with the grids of around 6 millimeters or multiples, as we shall see. So referring to the book, we see that these are the most crucial details we require, and also the design specifications, or what we term as notes. We'll add them at the topmost part. So let's go ahead and draw. So the first thing, I just want to create that grid. So we select the frame itself, just explode it, because we'll be manipulating it. Then we want to begin by the first offset, that is of 56 millimeters. So offset it by 56, that manner. Then do the same for this one, begin the offset by 24. So to that point, then I'm just going to trim this, so it can look a bit better. Now we offset it for the subsequent main measurements. So the first one is 42, followed by 12, followed by 24. So select it to 24, followed by lastly another 24. So we can confirm just by measuring through distance. 126. So let's go ahead and break down this part to those 6 millimeter smaller grids. So in this case there are several, so we can just type M or use multiple. Escape. then you're done. So next up, we're going to add the text. To add the text, as we've said, we're going to adopt 3 millimeters for the main ones and 2.5 millimeters for the information itself. So in this case, we want to begin just at the top here. You can just use the single line. Justify it. Justification just want it, or rather justification is just talking about its anchor point or its main anchor point. You want it to be at the top left. You can align it here. Then text rotation, we don't want it to be rotated. Yeah, so let's go ahead and type project title like that. And let's just do a bit of cleaning. You can use the move function or just the groups themselves. Move it here a bit downwards a bit. Yeah, it's better. Then we also want to add now the smaller information, rather than the description of the headings. In this case, let me just create a boundary, set it by say around 5 millimeters. That kind. You can pick the multi-line tool just for this case, because it's project tool is usually having a lot of words like that. Let's put template, change it later. Then the subsequent, the client also usually has a lot of words, so I can just copy this. To that position, and just edit this to client like that. The next step for these other ones is going to be a bit different. So I can just select this, copy this one along, paste it here, paste it here. This is now the beauty of computer drafting. You don't have to repeat and repeat. Actually, I could have just copied it to one, then applied it to the rest, but doesn't matter. Perhaps that will be something we'll learn to do later on. So this one is the drawing title. Now in this case, this is going to be a bit different. So let's just offset it by 5, because we want to be at the bottom here. Just copy this, place it here. Then we're changing the height from the quick properties. You can access it by just the keyboard shortcut Control 1. So we want the text height here to be a bit lesser, 2.5. That you can distinguish between the heading and the information itself. Then I'm going to give it a template value of that sort. Then we'll copy this, because we'll be using it on these other parts. So just place it here. Then I move it or adjust it to that portion. So before I do that, let me change this to scale. I forgot to do that earlier on. Change this also to designed by. Next one, we have the drawn by. Then we'll go ahead to the checked by. Date. And the DRG number, the drawing number. Then lastly, we have the sheet number. This last part, we have the farm information, and that is now dependent on the farm itself. So we can have logos or something of that sort. So I'll just leave it blank. So let's now go ahead and copy this. Copy it here, here. Let's fill it up. Now let's move it. You can have Yeah, this one seems to be in the right place. This a bit. This sticking to the grips. Just move this down a bit. So do the same for this one. Maybe at almost at the center of those of that column. Yeah, I think that's okay. Like that. Yeah. So the next thing we're going to do is now automate this information. So just before we do that, forgotten to add the notes at the bottom, at the top. So you just select this and copy it. The topmost part here, like that. Then just write here notes. Simple. Then let's remove some of these extras. Yeah, now that's done. Now in the case we're going to add into automated fields, so we're going to use insert fields to automate some of the information in our drawings, especially these templates we created here. So we want to go to the general menu, then go to drawing utilities, then drawing properties. This is where you can add custom information about the drawing. So we're going to name them just in accordance to what we have here, beginning with now the project title. So just click on add, then write project title. The value, can give it just can leave it as that. In this case we don't have any project title. Then we add another one, client. Then we have drawing title. In this case I'm not going to use it here. The drawing title we can use just on the automatic So we will not provide for the sheet set number, the drawing title, because those ones may vary, and in the case for the drawing title, we're going to use another kind of insert field that will just automate it automatically. So once you're done with that, press OK. I'll go to this first option here, double click on it, and just clear this. Right click, then insert field. So we want to go to the document, this fields tab, field category document, and then select project title. Just press OK. Then we can do that later. Do the same for this one. Just clear it, insert field. We want to go to the client. With the client, The drawing title, I'm going to use just already inbuilt option. So we go to the other objects, system variable. You want to choose the current tab, rather what represents the current tab. So we have something called C tab around here somewhere. It's going to look for it. There it is. Okay, so as you can see, it has already automatically selected model, which is now the current tab, the model tab. Then for the scale, Still do the same procedure, right click, insert fields, go back to document, select scale, okay, then designed by, same procedure, insert field, look for designed by. You have to make sure that you spelled it the right way, because we'll be doing that in the main drawings, or rather when we are importing, or before we import it. Okay, drawn by, insert field, drawn by. We have the next one, checked by, clear that, insert field, checked by. Now for the date, of course this is something we can have an already available option for, so I choose date and time, then date. So according to what you prefer, you can choose something that is conclusive, that does everything. Then for the drawing number, insert field, go to the document, the DRG number, okay. For the sheet number, I don't want to automate it because the sheets may vary, so I'll just leave it as that. And let's just do some bit of cleaning of this so that we can have a proper clearance. Make sure this is within, like that. Then move this also. Just want it to be in within the frames, like that. This one seems to be in the right place. And move this one to the bottom a bit. We select all of them. You can just move them all at once. So using the move option, just like that. Then we just want to do a bit of cleaning here. Remember, this frame has to be thicker. From the specifications, we found that it was required a thickness of minimum of 5 millimeters or 0.5 millimeters. So let's just join it first. Then I want to double click on it. Then adjust the width. I want to give it 1 millimeter thickness. So if you zoom in, you find that now it's a bit bigger than this other one. So I'll go ahead and delete this because we don't need this anymore. And that's it. You've created your simple title block with all the required information. So before we go, just want to check the units, ensure that they're okay. So just type units. I want to move everything to millimeters. Then yeah, everything here is okay. Okay. So we go ahead and save. Just save it as a normal the DWG drawing. So Control S. Then we can use going to save it as A1 portrait tutorial, something of that sort. Then yeah, save it. Then we're done. So we're going to open up a new drawing file. This is perhaps the drawing file or the drawing project you've been working on. So you made your drafts and everything. Now you want to plot your drawings on the paper space. So the first thing we want to do is to prepare the information for the drawing. This could be done prior when you're beginning with the main drawing. So all of the plotting is done in the layout tabs. So the first thing, we want to just adjust it to fit the specifications of the title block we've created. So we right click on the layout, project setup manager, then we just modify it. Want it to be A1 full bleed. that case, that manner, and to keep it this manner landscape. Then everything else seems okay. Press OK. Then I close it. Then I right click on the layout. I rename it. I need to be structural details, perhaps, or just whatever you intend to plot. Let me just remove this. This is just a template or a default viewport. So we go ahead to the general settings, the drawing utilities, and then the drawing properties. So we're going to write the same things we wrote, but only this time we're going to give it values. So the first one, we have the project title. So we can just choose proposed apartment development. This is just an example. Going to add another one. The client can say Smith and Sons, for example. Estates. Scale. So in our case, dealing with structural details, you can put a fixed scale. This is not to your own discretion, but I'm just going to write it as varied. Then designed by, make sure I've written it correctly, designed by. The value here is going to be just some initials, so we just write OG, some initial there. Drawn by, I'll put also OG, for example. And then checked by, I'll put another kind of initial OB. Next up is the DRG number. So just click on it and write DRG number. We can give it a value, let's say 12 CT SD 2022, something of the sort. Then we're done. Press OK. So everything, all the information has been set. So we go ahead and insert the title block. So to do that, just use the xref function. Then attach DWG. This is the one we had created. So you select the one you created in the location where you had created it. Then keep everything else intact here. I'm not going to change anything. Press OK. Then close it. So if you take a look at the information that has already automatically been added here. Yeah, everything has been added here. So if you want to edit any of the information within the title block, for example, as you can see here, the notes are a bit crowded. There's no clearance from the frame. You can just select it, right click, then edit xref in place. Then you can just go ahead and select this, move it down a bit. But anything else I wish to adjust, I can tweak the sheet number. I don't know why it has moved that direction. Maybe remove snap. You can perhaps write the sheet number as one of 2, for example. Then once I'm done, I just save the changes. Yes, that's it. So we've come up with a title block, a very simple one, and everything else has been automated. So you can use this consistently in your drawing files and it makes work easier. So you've just learned how to create a simple reusable title block. If you found this video useful, you can like and subscribe to the channel so as not to miss on the next video. You can also check out the other videos and some tips and tricks to help you in your drafting work. See you in the next video.